Welcome to the F.L.O.W podcast, fearlessly leading our way. This podcast is a space dedicated to spotlighting the unfiltered voices of Black women in their unique leadership journeys. I am your host, Angela V. Harris. I'm an award-winning coach, speaker, author, and champion for Black women. Make sure you like and subscribe to this podcast to stay connected to our conversations. Let's get ready to flow. Hey, fearless leaders. Welcome back to another episode of the F.L.O.W podcast. I'm your host, Angela V. Harris. Before we dive into today's conversation, I want to take a moment to celebrate a major milestone. March 8th, 2025 will mark the 1-year anniversary of the F.L.O.W podcast. This all started as a vision to redefine what leadership looks like for Black women. I wanted to create a space to provide motivation and inspiration through powerful guest stories, and this experience has grown into something truly special. It's been an honor to interview and get to know all the guests. To date, we've reached over 1,100 downloads and counting, connecting with listeners across the globe, including countries like Singapore, Russia, Brazil, and Somalia. In our very first episode, Fearlessly Leading as a First remains the most downloaded, which tells me that these conversations are resonating deeply. To everyone who was tuned in, shared an episode, or sent words of encouragement, thank you. Your support fuels this podcast, and I'm beyond grateful. As we move into our second year, I want to hear from you. This podcast is for you, and I welcome your feedback, guest suggestions, and ideas to make it even better. If you've enjoyed the show, please take a moment to leave a review. It helps us reach even more people who need to hear these conversations. Today's guest is someone who embodies resilience, passion, and purpose. Crystal Jordan is a powerhouse advocate for autism awareness, acceptance, and inclusion. As the founder of Zachariah's World, she is dedicated to reshaping the conversation around neurodiversity and ensuring that all voices, especially those of nonverbal individuals, are heard. Her journey is one of strength, transformation, and advocacy. And today, she's here to share her story and mission with us. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome to the show, Crystal.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on your platform.
Well, thank you for joining us today. I'm excited to share your incredible journey and all the amazing work that you're doing within your community.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it because when I focus on this subject, I think it's important that we talk about autism awareness, acceptance, and inclusion.
Okay. Well, before we dive into your inspiring advocacy and your story behind Zachariah's World, I want to start with your personal story. I read that you dreamed of starting a magazine when you were just 13 years old. Can you tell us a bit about that and about
Oh my
13-year-old
God.
Crystal?
Oh my God. You want me to go to 13-year-old Crystal? 13-year-old Crystal, and I may get emotional. So just want to prepare everybody for that.
Okay.
She was struggling with so much at 13. I was being bullied around that age. I didn't think I was pretty at 13. Crystal had very low self-confidence. Crystal was not okay. Crystal at 13 was very suicidal at 13. So, 13-year-old Crystal versus 20-year-old Crystal, I mean 35-year-old Crystal is so different. What inspired me? What inspired me to start a magazine and what made me want to do it? My favorite movie was 13 going on 30. And I remember watching it and just being so happy. I just I remember being so happy watching that movie, watching the main character amplified Jenna amplified the stories of people that matter versus celebrities. But 13-year-old Crystal battled with depression, and I didn't even know what that word mean at 13. So yeah. Mhm.
Well, thank you for being vulnerable to share that with us, Crystal.
Thank you for
And you've
asking that. Nobody never
definitely
really
come
asked
a
that.
long way. You've definitely come a
Yeah,
long way.
yeah, I have like to imagine that I try to take my life a couple times when I was in middle school, and seeing the woman that God has made me to be today is powerful.
Yeah, yeah. I could definitely see, the parallels and how that led you to be the advocate that you are today.
Yes, like, and believe it or not, I really believe um I self-diagnosed myself as autistic and ADHD and dyslexia, which I'm trying to work on getting formally tested. But I was bullied. I was in
Mhm.
special education, and I just remember those moments back then. So yeah,
Childhood can be rough. I was teased and bullied as a child as well. I was overweight, as a child. So I heard like all the things. So I could definitely empathize with you on that. It was not easy. But look at us
it
now.
wasn't even. Amen. Like,
Look at us
can,
now.
can I touch on the bullying part?
Yeah, sure.
So my bullying story, I never publicly talked about it, and you're the first I ever talked about it with. My bullying story was hard. I I was when I was younger, I had to wear long skirts because my parents didn't believe in pants. Uh, so I got bullied for that. I remember getting cornered in the locker room and getting bullied. I remember them locking the door and locking me in the bathroom and doing the bloody. I don't even know about Bloody Mary, but doing the Bloody Mary with them, and it was really bad. I was ridiculed. Everybody didn't fight Monday. I'm going to fight Tuesday. I knew going into school, I didn't fight yesterday, so I mean I got to fight today, and it was very hard and traumatic. It really shaped who I am today. I formally forgave my bullies in 2020 when they triggered me. Um, Somebody made a Facebook group on Facebook. I love him, Sierra, and it was for my middle school classmates. And everybody was posting their good memories, and everybody was posting pictures of middle school. And I'm like, no, y'all put me in this group, and I had to write. I wrote this long letter to them.
Wow.
And once I wrote that letter during COVID to them, I felt better. I feel healed because I don't think nobody's child should experience what I went through. I didn't even touch on what I really went through. Them putting like my book bag in the trash can during lunch. I'm trying to eat, they're throwing food at me. Like I was ridiculed. Like those movies you see on Lifetime and you see them getting bullied really bad. I lived that. From sixth grade to eighth grade, I lived that every other day. I had to eat lunch in the principal office because I was bullied so bad. The
Wow.
principal became my friend. You know how sad that is as a child? Yeah. I know that wasn't our interview, but you asked
No,
that
no, no. I mean,
question.
but it's your story. And I'm pretty sure by you sharing that, so many other people can relate to your story because bullying, it's a whole different level now because we have like the cyber, but like we were coming up, it was like more, in person, but now the kids have to deal with the cyber bullying.
I
And
went through
so many young
cyberbullying too.
children are committing suicide as a result of that today.
I tried. I'm not gonna lie to you. I tried. It just was not successful. And then I was cyber bully as well. When I got to high school, so I have alopecia. So a lot of people think this is my fashion statement.
Okay.
I wanted to show this. This is not a fashion statement. I have no hair on my sides. It's been that way for a very long time. Now I do intentionally shave it and wear my hair this way to embrace my imperfections. But I was bullied for this as well. I remember the
Mhm.
song. Anyway, the Chicken Head. When Chicken Head came out, they made a
Mhm.
song, and the song targeting me was bald head, slip and slide, ain't got no hair on the side. I will never forget that. Yep. You know the real words, know the real words. But I was really bullied. And when you asked that question about 13-year-old Crystal, I just went there. It's like I'm 13-year-old Crystal will be so proud of me today. I don't, 13-year-old Crystal would not have seen me here today. Like,
Mhm.
so thank you for that question. Like, I'm a crybaby anyway, but just thank you for that question because I was not expecting to go there with you. I was expecting to do this interview and focus on what I do now, which is autism awareness and acceptance and inclusion. But of course, you shifted to 30-year-old Crystal. And I think that's so powerful because
Wow.
it's
Yeah.
so many people that go through that or they probably went through that and they still haven't healed from that. It took me years, over a decade to heal from that.
Mm-hmm.
And all my bullies did apologize to me, by the way.
You said they did or they did not?
They did. They
Oh,
apologized to me.
wow. Wow.
Every
Wow.
single one of them, they all told me sorry. And they support me today. Like they'll check on me. Do I accept it? Not fully, but I forgive them. But they check on me. They always say, we want to come support you. And it's beautiful to see my letter struck a chord. And yeah, so
It's amazing. I just want to go back to a couple of things that you said. You said, first of all, you forgave your bullies. Like, forgiveness is so hard for people at any age to do. And for you to have done that, years later, and also for the bullies to have acknowledged and, apologized, that just speaks volumes.
so I had to forgive them because it was trauma that I was carrying. I was carrying that trauma into so many relationships.
Yes.
I needed to forgive them. I needed to
Yes.
forgive myself for trying to commit for me trying to take my life a couple times. I needed to heal. And in order to heal, you have to address the elephant in the room. And that elephant at the time was y'all put me in this Facebook group and y'all are talking about y'all positive memories. And y'all talking about how much fun you had in middle school. I don't have that. I call middle school my dark times because I was bullied. I fought every other day. Like, I know I can fight, but I had to fight, physically fight girls. I used to get jumped. Can you imagine? Like, I used to get jumped. Mhm. Yeah. So,
Mhm.
yep. And then I had a speech impediment. So I talk a little different, even though at this point I know I'm autistic. I, I couldn't say certain things. Yeah, I'm not. I'm more articulate now versus then. 13-year-old Crystal was still. I didn't start talking to after 5. Like so, it was a lot of factors why I was bullied, but it's not okay. Now, but looking back, why I forgave them, what was they going through at home? What was their home like? And so I have to forgive them because I don't know what they was going through. I don't know. They may have seen my light at 13, and at 13, I didn't see my light. I
Mhm.
thought I was ugly. I thought I was so many different things than what I am today. Today, I'm proud of me. The 13-year-old Crystal was ashamed. So thank you for that beautiful question. Like you're the first person to ever ask me that. And I'm emotional in general, but just thinking about why I love 13 going on 30. And to think I have a magazine with my business partner, Jonathan Hawkins, and we have won magazine of the year twice in 2024. So I'm doing what God wants me to do. I know your audience like, she's a crybaby. I'm sorry,
No, no,
y'all.
that's fine. And I just want to go back to something else that you said. You said you realized that you were carrying trauma. And I just think about the phrase, hurt people and heal people. And like just hearing your story and knowing your story, it just informs the work that you have done and that the work that you're going to continue to do with your advocacy.
Yes, and with me, with that trauma, I also got in therapy. I'm not in therapy currently, but I was in therapy for 2 years and I had to address everything. It's still things to this day I haven't addressed because I really want to have another therapist before I address some more. things that I
Yeah.
needed done from my childhood. But I did that when I didn't have a therapist. I had a therapist, but I did it because I was so triggered, and I used the tools that my therapist at the time taught me. And I said, okay, that's that. I now know when something is trauma, and I have to
Mm,
address it.
yeah. Yeah. I know
Hmm.
you talked about the fact that you had to literally fight every day, but now as an advocate, you're fighting in a different form. You kind of transform that for good. So I want to talk about your son's diagnosis with autism spectrum disorder. Can you take us back to that moment, what it was like for you?
Oh my God. So when I look back at when he was diagnosed, so I'm gonna go a little bit deeper. So when he was before he was diagnosed, my best friend told me, "Hey, I think he's autistic." I didn't know what it was. I said, "I don't think so." Then my son's godmom said the same thing. I said, I don't know. I don't know." But when he turned one and I saw that he hit all his milestones until one, and I noticed he didn't walk at 1 year. That's a milestone that he supposed to hit. And then when he was two, he went back then. They changed it a lot, but back then you supposed to have 2 year olds supposed to have 200 words in every vocabulary. My son didn't even have that. He had one, which was that. That's it. And I said, that's That made me think. And then I went to my son's doctor. She don't take walk-ins, and pretty much what I did, she said, I don't take walk-ins. She said, I took you because I know you're ready. And his doctor told me that too because she had an autistic son. And when she told me that, just went in there. And she made the referral from Marcus Center. And my son was diagnosed in October of 2019, well, being autistic. And I remember being sad for 2 days. I grieved for 2 days. And then that Monday, I was on the phone making calls. And that Monday, I was out there getting the services that he needed. But but when I go back to that moment, I was scared. When I go back to that moment, I didn't know what autism was. I was just a typical parent. I'm a new parent, it's my only child. I was like, what? I'm not thinking about what I did wrong. I'm thinking about what is life gonna look like for my child. I'm scared. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm already a first time mom, and now I have a child that has this quote unquote disability. How can I set him up for success? So those 2 days was, yes, I was grieving the thought that I thought he was gonna be, but I also was embracing who he is. I embrace my son. I love my son. And he's the reason why I do everything I do today. And like like Zachariah World, the magazine I just announced in January, also in You magazine, everything I'm doing is for my child because I
Mhm.
want my legacy is going to be for him. When I
Right.
pass, my legacy is not about Crystal. It's about Crystal did so much for autistic individuals. Crystal did so much for the neurodiverse community, even though 9 to 10 I'm a part of that community. But before I was officially knew I was a part of the community, I was already doing it. I'm walking in that light. I'm walking in that truth. And I do this because my son needs me, but other people need me too.
Mhm.
So,
There's so much there. I heard you said you were navigating so many emotions. You were scared, you were grieving, trying to
mhm.
adapt to being a first-time mom. So that was a lot to handle at one time.
It was. I got to a point where I was overwhelmed and I stopped doing services because my son had feeding therapy, play therapy, OT, and ABA all at one time. And for me to be, I'm like I said, I'm single, me to go from therapy to therapy all the time it was draining. But
Mhm.
now that I have a system and I'm doing better, I had a system then, but I also had lost my cousin around that time too. So I was really depressed. What I learned from my journey personally is I cannot get to my son if my cup is not
Yes.
running over.
Mhm.
So I can only get to him when my cup is running. And right now my cup is water on the floor. Like I'm feeding my son and I'm filling him up from my overflow and my overflow is on the floor. Like one thing that is exclusive for you, I'm in the process of working on a bill to get passed in the state of Georgia. And I'm focusing on autism. And I actually have to send that email today because it's get a walk to the floor. But
Wow.
even if that bill don't get passed, how many people do you know can say they got a bill tucked into the floor, and the bill was is more powerful than me. Yes, my son inspired it, and it is going to be named after my child because it only makes sense. But it's bigger than him. It's
Wow.
bigger than me, and I'm creating a legacy again for my son. And I advocate for him, but I advocate for so many other families. I do this,
Yeah.
like, and I don't make money from this. I literally just told somebody this the other day. I said, you know what's so crazy? I'm working on a documentary as well, and it's focused on autism. It's called Ultimately You. It's in the heart of autism, and I'm following these other moms, right? And with me following these other moms, it's powerful because I'm making a difference. But again, it's bigger than just my story. I'm only one story.
Yeah. And like you said, it's bigger than you. And it sounds like you're definitely walking in your calling because your calling is something that you don't necessarily get paid to do. You're just doing it because you're so passionate about it.
And again, I'm not getting paid for this. You're like, I think you're a number. In the last 3 months, I have done 35 interviews, podcast interviews. And yes, I talk about autism in every single interview. But do you think I have made any money from any interview? Absolutely not. I do this because this is what God told. God made it very clear to me in October of 2024. He told me to walk in my purpose. He told me to, because I put my autism stuff on pause for a year to focus on becoming her magazine. And God told me I can do both, but I have to walk in my purpose. I have to
Wow.
push my personal brand. And God made it crystal clear to me. He said He's going to provide. He's going to give me everything I need, but I have to push this mission because He made sure this mission was not designed for me. In doing this time, I have really in the last 2 years noticed that I may be autistic. I've been looking at all my educational background. I've been looking at everything to the point where I'm pulling my records from my high school, from my school system because I'm like, why I'm so passionate about this beyond my son. Like and I advocate for families for free. I go into the school system. I just did one last week, and the school system was so impressed. But I told them, I said I wasn't done because it's something the school system I didn't like. And I said, I'm going to call the school system. I'm going to talk to the board and we're going to figure out how we can implement what I just asked because you don't have an answer for me. And that's a
Mm.
problem.
Wow.
And I'm super passionate about me advocating for families. Like, prime example, Miss Angela, if you had an autistic kid, right, and me and you are not on good terms today, you call me later on today and be like, hey, you send me a text, right? And be like, hey, my child, I need you because blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna be there. It don't matter what me and you got going on. That child needs me. And that's my mindset. I'm very serious about advocating for families and making sure I educate the parents. A lot of parents don't understand that IEP is a legal binding contract. A lot of parents
Wow.
don't understand they have parent rights. A lot of parents don't understand that you can, depending on your state, you can record. Like I'm very big on making sure my parents know who they hire. And yeah, you hire me and I'm free, but I want you to understand I'm here for your child and I'm here for you too. So
Wow.
yeah, I do this for real. I don't play about it. My son, my son he get both sides. Like, and for me this year, well, last year, I changed the way I thought. I'm his advocate first, his mom second. And with me being able to turn off the mom side, I'm getting so much done. It's amazing. I'm getting so much done. It's like mom is off, the advocate is on. And I have two sides of the advocate. I have the nice advocate, and I have the advocate when I know you playing in my face and you're technically in the wrong and ethically wrong, you're not gonna like it. And I'm going to
Wow.
read you professionally, and we're going to talk about what you're not going to do to my client. And they're like, "That's your son." I know he's my son, but right now he's my client. So
Wow. You are holding into the fire, Crystal.
you know what's funny? My client said that last week. She was just like she had tapped my leg because I was like, so we was me and the school system was vibing. I have never seen. They had so many people in that one meeting. Once she said she had an advocate, I said, is crazy. But I was quiet. But when I asked the question, and we was vibing the whole time until I asked my last question, and then I asked him about observations. I said, what is our policy on my client coming to the school and doing observations so she can make sure that she's doing the same thing at home? Oh, our school system don't allow it. I said, why not? They said, oh, your energy. I said, I did. They said we feel good. I said we good, but I didn't know what is why. I said, you know what's better? I'm going to email the school system and I'm going to figure that out myself. So I'm going to talk to the school system. I don't need you. Y'all are local. I'm going to talk to the superintendent if I need to. So I'll give you an answer and what I need. So yeah, and it's also certain things I'm putting in my bill for this type of stuff because in my bill I'm focusing on education. I'm focusing on resources, workforce development programs for in Georgia. I think that each major company and company should have a workforce, or we should have a workforce in Georgia where we hire and employ autistic individuals because we can't talk about inclusion and we're not hiring them. They need jobs. We also need jobs for the kids, for the autistic individuals that are not speaking. They cannot speak
Yes.
like me.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I do it. Like I'm so excited to send this bill. I'm like, I don't think you were, and I haven't fully made an announcement about the bill yet. I've been hinting on it on my social media because it happened last week. The legislator said to me, he said, I'm gonna give you one of my bills. He said, but I need it ASAP. And I shook his hand and I said, I'm ready. I said, whatever you need from me. So where's my deadline? I said, I'm gonna meet it and we gonna do this.
Mhm.
And he said, you serious? I said, I'm serious. That was Wednesday. Today is Monday. Do you not know my bill is almost finished?
Wow. Wow.
I'm not playing with him. I'm not playing because God and how I know I'm walking in my purpose because God is just giving me stuff. It's stuff like God is just giving me stuff. It's so amazing. Like
Mhm.
I'm having a soft launch for my magazine, also in You magazine in March. That venue, God is amazing. God gave me that venue. I had to pay a dime, and that venue cost over $2,000 to rent out for the day. And God is look, they say here. And I was like, God. And then even my lunch for April 2nd, the restaurant owner said, I'm gonna give you this for this price. And the price is so low. I don't want to say because he may kill me. But he said, here,
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
He even said with this price, it includes food. I looked at him, I said, this practically free. How it include food? He, I tell you, God is showing
Mhm.
out. He's showing me here and there that this is my purpose.
Yes.
And I just did an event, my first event as also you the other day. That post that went viral. It got so many comments because I'm purposely going into spaces that are not talking about special needs or autism. I'm purposely picking events that's not dealing with that so I can talk about inclusion and special needs because DEI is attacking my community as we see. Trump is attacking
Yeah.
special needs. So God made it clear in October, and I didn't know why God wanted me to start walking in my purpose for autism and special needs. But as Trump took the office and the DEI happened, I knew then what God was doing. God was like, it's time for you to fight. It's time for you to get ready
Yeah.
because this is not my moment. This is the moment for me to fight for my son community to get the resources and things he needs. It's not about Crystal Jordan. I'm just the face of my brand, but it's bigger than me. Like for a prime example, with Altering You magazine, I purposely staff autistic writers. I'm not even launching it. I already have two autistic writers, and I'm about to get a third. Like I'm not playing when it comes to the word inclusion. And when I get money into my brand, I'm going to pay them autistic writers their worth. Yes, like it's so much bigger than me because this brand I plan to give to my son. It's gonna be in my will. And if my son wants to walk away from his brand and sell it for millions, in my will it says he can do that. I don't think he will though. I don't think he will. I really think he'll be like, no, my mama put in too much work. I don't think,
Yeah.
but I want to. I would not be mad because as long as he can take care of himself when I'm no longer here, these are conversations people don't want to have. When I die, I'm not. I don't think I'm gonna leave behind is my books and my legacy. And my legacy is what I'm doing today. Even with you, it's still part of my legacy
Yes.
because people
Yes.
gonna be able to Google this in 20 years and watch this interview or whatever, listen to it, whatever they want to do. And they'll be like, wow, she was passionate about it. So yeah, this is my passion. This is my purpose. This is what I'm walking in, and I love what I do. Now, if God start providing me what He already told me, He gonna start providing me with income through this. That's gonna be amazing because it don't feel like work to me. It's so easy.
Mhm.
It's so effort. Oh my God, it's so easy for me to do this. Like from my content, I have never just created content so easily doing what I do. Yep. I ain't even going to rant, but yep.
Well, it sounds like you're definitely in the flow. I know we talked about, the concept of flow, and I think I shared with you that I
Hmm.
saw a meme on Pinterest where it said, "When it's God, it flows. When it's you, it's force." And it sounds like things are just flowing too. You talked about the venue and the other contracts, and so you're definitely in this space of flow.
Flow is not the, yeah, I am in a place of flow, but I'm in a space of God providing. I'm in a space of listening to Him. I'm in a
Yeah.
space of letting God shift and take me where He wants to. I'm in a space of being obedient to God.
Hmm.
And God, like, one thing I'm big on this year is the word impact. If we're doing business together, where whatever it is, platonic, non-platonic, if it's not impactful, then we're not going to impact my life, we're not going to impact your life, or we're not going to impact others. There's no point of me to be on your platform or work with you or talk to you. And I know that may be very harsh for me to say out loud, but if it's not impactful, I can't do it. That's my word for 2025 that God gave me is impactful and perfect. Purpose.
Well, I know as advocates, we feel like when we are called to do something, we know it's bigger
Hmm.
than us. And you said that several times. And your brand, Zachariah's World, you celebrate the uniqueness of people with autism spectrum disorder. So, what are some of the misconceptions about autism that you're working to dismantle with your platform?
So one thing is I really want to state for my son in particular is just because he is nonverbal or somebody is nonverbal or non-speaking does not mean they do not understand.
Hmm.
A lot of people assume because somebody is non-speaking or nonverbal, they don't understand. That's a myth. Autistic people are not affectionate. That's another myth. My son is the most loving child. He he give me kisses and all that. And another myth is autism is a disability. Let's
Hmm.
remove the word disability because they are able to do anything they put their mind to. They just need patience and belief. That's one of my quotes. But they just need patience and belief. I'm gonna read it. I'm sure I have it somewhere, but let's see can I find it. I wrote it, but I say it so much I kind of forgot it. But anyway, but that is something I'm working to really let people understand. And because I have a nonverbal child, most people are like, oh, he doesn't understand. That's the wrong. And another thing I personally dislike is when you tell me you have an autistic child and they say, I'm so sorry. What are you sorry about? What are you sorry about? I don't understand what you're sorry about. That's one thing that I purposely, in the beginning, I got that a lot. Like, I'm so sorry your kid is autistic. What? Why are you sorry? He's fine. He just think differently than you. He's just not the same. And guess what? You're not the same like me. I'm different from you myself. So where are you? Why are you sorry? That's one thing I dislike about when people think of the word disability. But my quote is, with guidance, patience, and belief, I can rise to my fullest potential and achieve more than I ever imagined. Crystal Jordan. Now let's break down my quote. I feel like when you have guidance and you really guide that person who's on the spectrum, and you have to have patience because it may take them a little bit longer to get it. They may even have to chop the information, you, and that's okay. And you have to believe that they can rise to their fullest potential, not your fullest potential, but their fullest potential. They can achieve more than you ever imagined because we sometimes put people with disabilities in a box and we leave them here and society is here. No, that's not inclusion. We need to let them and we need to bring them in. Another thing, we need to teach people who are not neurodiverse to love people that's on the spectrum and love people
Yeah.
that is special needs. Because we teaching our kids how to how to do social, how to interact in a social setting. But what about the kid who is not, who's neurotypical? Neurotypical is society standard or normal. You would never hear me say normal in interviews because I think it's very disrespectful. That's my personal opinion. But are we teaching our kids that are neurotypical how to interact with people that have disabilities?
Mhm.
That's why my quote is with guidance, patience, and belief, I can achieve more than I ever imagined. In all three of them things, patience, guidance, and belief. But we have to also put that into our neurotypical kiddos. And we need to teach them how to love everyone, and especially love people and give people that have disabilities more grace than you would give the next neurotypical person because they need more grace. They need more understanding. And if you can't factor that, that means you haven't got to the word acceptance. That's why I don't really focus on awareness. In the beginning of my journey, I focused on awareness heavily 5 years ago. No, 4 years ago. But now I'm all about acceptance and inclusion, and you making sure your companies are hiring autistic individuals, and
Mhm.
especially hiring the non-speaking
Yes.
autistic individuals because my son is non-speaking, and I need him to but I need him to have a job in the future.
Mhm.
But I know that I'm going to provide because ultimately, you magazine is going to be where he get hired, and because I'm already doing it.
Well, I want to dig a little bit deeper there because you talked about the recent changes and the need for workforce development programs. So, are there specific industries or roles where nonverbal individuals thrive?
So I currently know I'm working with somebody who's autistic and she is not speaking. She was verbal and she regressed. She is older. When I say older, she's in her late 20s and she was in the process of losing her home. She cannot get a job. And the problem is, why can't she get a job? It's because she's non-speaking. She's an AAC device to communicate. The problem is, for me personally, is why do we not have work from home jobs that are non-speaking jobs designed for people on the spectrum?
Hmm.
Because they have bills just like us. That everybody have bills. She's in the process of losing her home because she can't find a job that want to hire her. That's a problem. That's a bigger issue. And what I don't like about the community is we focusing on puzzle pieces. We're focusing on certain how to use certain words. The bigger issue that we need to be pushing is inclusion in the workforce and making sure we all can have jobs and we can be able to pay bills and take care of our families and our kids. And she also have autistic kids as well. So she's on the spectrum. Her kids are on the spectrum, and they're all different. The spectrum is big. They're all different levels, and she's trying to navigate being a mom. And she is non-speaking. She's using an AAC device to communicate. Now, when I just talk to her on the phone, I understand her. I even talk just like her. That's how I know 9 out of 10 I'm autistic. Because it was hard for people to understand me. Because she sounds like a robot. It sounds like really choppy and it's really, really bad. But I understood. I understand it because I lived that. I lived that. I talked like that until high school, technically. So it's like that's why I'm big on it. But before she even told me her business, I lost my voice in 2022. 2022, I lost my voice. No, 2023. I lost my voice and I was at work and I will never forget my manager at the time sent me home because he told me that my voice was part of my uniform. I was using ASL to communicate and I was writing. The guest had no problem. He did. When he sent me home, I cussed him out in sign language. He understood it. He said, I understood that. And I wrote down good. And I remember leaving work crying, being upset and hysterical. And I had lost that time I lost my voice. It was over a week. I had to grocery shop. That was I met a lot of kind souls, but I also didn't meet a lot of kind people all the time. But it was an experience that I needed because God did that for a reason. I think God did that so I could walk in the shoes of somebody else. And it
Mhm.
was very difficult. And it's so funny. I lose my voice every year around the same time now, all the time now, since 2023. I lose my voice around the same time. I'm so used to it. When I lose my voice at work, my coworkers be like, "Oh, we're gonna have a quiet day today." and I write down when I'm talking to guests, or I use ASL. I know a little bit of ASL. And this year, I lost my voice. I like my manager. I like what she did. She said, "You think you can still work on the front and communicate with the guests?" I said, I wrote down. I said, "Of course." She said, "Okay." And I said, "Good." I wrote down good, and my voice came back in an hour that time, but
Wow.
because
Wow.
I kept trying, but it was nothing coming out. I would talk, and it was like it's silence. So I have lived as an adult with no voice support, and it was,
Mm.
my throat was, it was nothing wrong with my throat.
Wow.
First, might say it was a throat. It was not. It was. I was fine. I was not sick. I just had no voice. It happens, and it happens every year at the same time. And I don't be sick. I lose no voice. It just. I think God does it to remind me why I do this.
Mm.
I know it's God. When I lose my voice,
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, I'm losing my voice today. But I love when I lose my voice because it gives me compassion for my son. It gives me compassion for the autistic individuals or the non-speaking individuals who cannot talk. It gives me compassion every time, and it resets me for why I do this. So I actually love losing my voice every year, believe it or not. Even though the first time I was very emotional and sad because I was really hurt, but now and when I lose it, I'm like, oh, here go my lesson. My lesson coming today, and I be thinking it. So yeah, I even told a guest that I work in a hotel. I lost my voice like 3 weeks ago, and I wrote it down. And I wrote down why I love losing my voice, and she said that's so deep and personal. And I wrote down it was my lesson for today.
Wow.
I
Wow.
love it. When I love losing my voice. It may sound so crazy to somebody listening, but I love when I lose my voice. But it puts me in the shoes of my son.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
You walked in so many shoes, so it enables you to help all the people that you're serving because you lived it.
Right. I agree.
First, I
Mm,
want to
yeah,
switch gears a little bit and move into a lightning round. So I'm going to ask you a few rapid fire questions.
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. So first question, one thing I try to do every day is,
Find something inspirational. It can be Instagram, it can be on my phone. I try to find something inspirational. And I try to talk to a friend a day if I can, if I have the time, any capacity.
yeah, yeah. And I'm the same. Like I start my morning with Pinterest. I have like this Pinterest board that probably has like 10,000 pins. I'm always scrolling for like inspirational messages or reading old inspirational messages that I've acquired over the years.
I'm gonna do that. I love that. I'm
Yeah,
taking it from you.
take away. Next question. I feel most alive when,
I feel most alive when I talk about my mission and my purpose of pushing autism awareness and inclusion.
yes, yes. I mean, the way you light up. I mean, you're wearing yellow today, but like your face is just like so bright when you're speaking.
Thank you. And this is my brand color, believe it or not.
Nice, nice. A professional experience that shaped who I am today was,
Are we talking about autism, or are we talking about
thing that shaped who you are today.
professionals? Can you give me an example? You stop.
It's whatever comes to mind for you.
So, what shaped me today is me writing my book just like you.
Mm,
Once I wrote that book, I walked into who I was meant to be. I walked into my purpose, not knowing that I walked into my purpose. And it's funny because I'm realizing that more and more every interview. I'm realizing
mm,
when I wrote just like you, that was my purpose. And that's what shaped who you see today. I'm so loud when it comes to this topic because I just,
mhm.
in the beginning, I was just a mom who wanted to normalize the conversation around
Yeah.
autism.
When I hear that, it reminds me of what you said earlier in the interview about, forgiveness and that whole release and this letting go of that trauma. So it sounds like it
Right.
just opened up so many doors for you, just, releasing those emotions and putting it out there.
Yes, like when I wrote that book, it was for fun. It was a hobby. And to believe that that one book has pivoted me into what you see today from speaking gigs, me being an autism advocate, from me being labeled an expert, which I don't like that, but I have finally embraced it because I'm so knowledgeable about this topic.
Hmm. Okay. Next
Thank
question.
you.
My go-to mantra for tough times is
Repeat it one more time.
my go-to mantra for tough times is
To remember to breathe.
Mm, that is so important. Underrated, but so important.
Remember to breathe. I have it tatted right on my side. Like
Hmm.
I have to remember to breathe because in life everything's not gonna be so amazing. That's not life. I'm going through tough times. I have to be like I breathe and I have to tell myself it's okay not to be okay.
Remember, like this too shall pass.
Right.
Okay. When I need a quick energy boost, I
When I need a quick energy boost, I drink Red Bull. Or I haven't done this in months, so if my personal trainer is watching this, please don't hold a fire to me before I say this. I would go for a run, but I haven't done that since November because I've been going
okay.
through so much personally in my life and in my business and everything else. I haven't done running, but when I'm really, really stressed, I go running or I walk. Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm a walker.
I do
I feel
both.
like the
I
sun,
wa-
just being out in the sun and just inhaling the fresh air, just like really gives me an energy boost and helps me clear my mind.
right, and it's so refreshing to go walking or running.
Yes.
I'm out there and I'm just letting my thoughts leave.
Yeah.
I may go running one day this week because I need it. Okay.
The boldest risk I've ever taken was
Starting Awesome You magazine. It's the boldest risk because I already own the magazine, but this one is I'm celebrating the uniqueness of people on the spectrum. I'm celebrating neurotypical individuals. I'm celebrating mental health. I'm celebrating something bigger than Crystal Jordan. Now, becoming her is bigger than Crystal Jordan too, but I'm really focusing on something that need to be focused on. We have a DEI going on right now. And to think that I'm lunging around this time is amazing.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you. I'm doing it scared. I'm nervous. Like I know
We
everybody
all
else
do it
don't run.
scared.
I
And
know
I
people are
think a lot of
watching
people
me.
won't admit it. I feel like, everything is figurable, outable, and we have to do it scared because if we don't, we'll never start.
I'm doing it so scared. Like I already own a magazine. So I know some people probably look at this like, oh, she's starting a magazine and she already have a magazine that's competition. No, I'm building my portfolio A. Two, I'm creating something directed at the special needs community and mental health to celebrate them. Celebrate somebody who has cerebral palsy, celebrate somebody who has autism, celebrate somebody who has epilepsy. Like I'm really pushing the cause of everything in one. And I'm sometimes I ask myself like, girl, you doing that? I'm scared. Now my content don't look like I'm scared, but I'm scared. So, but I'm excited. I'm doing this. I'm doing this alone with fear. I have my best friend helping me, and my best friend has been like a light because he's helping me with the documentary side of what I'm doing, and it's been so it's been amazing. But I'm nervous. I have to talk to him to get re to affirm me all the time because I'm so nervous.
Yeah. I always say if it excites you and scares you, you're definitely on the right path.
I'm so nervous. Like it's like when I talk about it, I'm nervous. And then I know my launch party, I'm having two launch parties. I'm doing the soft launch and I'm doing the other launch. I'm like, I have to calm myself down. Like, yeah, it's happening. And we're shooting the documentary, parts of the documentary at the soft launch. Uh, and we're also shooting some of the documentary at the launch too. I'm like, okay, I'm doing this for it. People
Right.
don't see it, but I'm acting and walking, but I'm doing this for it.
Right. Wow. Last question. To me, success means
To me, success means I'm able to pay my bills and not think about my bills. They be on auto pay. Success means to me I'm able to take care of my mom, my dad, my sister and brother, and my nieces and nephews. It means that I'm able to pay for all my son's medical bills with no assistance from the government. Success for me means I can be able to take a trip for my mental break just because that my success is me being financially stable and also able to provide for my family and my son.
very important.
I don't care about being famous. Like
Yeah.
I don't care about being known. I want my account to be able to provide. I want to retire my mom. I want my mom to be able to just sleep and like I want to go to New
Wow.
York this week. And I'll be okay, I already booked the trip. I want to be that daughter. And my
Yeah.
sister my that sister and my sister be like, hey, your niece needs already look in your bank account. I want to be that person. So I'm really a server. Yeah.
You are. You are.
Thank you.
Well, Krista, before we wrap up, I have one last question I love to ask all my guests. And I'd love to know, what do you like to do when you aren't fearlessly leading?
Oh my God, you asked me a stomper question. I'm gonna answer this question because I promise you it's gonna be long. In December, me and my business partner had an event. The question was, "What do you like to do for fun?" That question stopped me because I don't think it's gonna be fun. I do podcast interviews. I work on my documentary. I do go to school and advocate. So I don't. I you just asked a similar question to that. So I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. I don't. That's my goal this year is to find an answer to that question because I don't do anything for fun. So when I'm not leading, I don't have an answer. I really don't. I'm struggling with that. I have to be honest with you. I'm struggling with that because I when that was in December when I was asked that question and I said, "Oh my God, that's a simple question," and I don't have an answer. And your question
Wow.
was a simple question, but I don't have an answer because I'm always leading.
Yeah.
I'm always finding ways to advocate, and I realized from that one question that I have to put fun back in my life, but I don't. I have to figure out how and, and when to do it because my calendar is so busy. My calendar is so full. So to answer your question, when I'm not seriously leading, it was a hard question for me. I'm gonna say I watch TV. I watch TV or I play games on my phone. I don't have an extravagant answer because I'm struggling with that, and That's why I answered that question from the December piece because I'm personally struggling with that as of today. But hopefully by the end of 2025, we hopefully we do a part 2 interview and I can answer that question. So
Well, what shows are you watching right now?
I watched Wags.
Okay.
What's it called? Wags. My coworker put me on the show because I don't watch TV like that. What's the name of it? Wags. I think it's called Wags. It's on Netflix. It's not really called Wags. It's Wife or something. I don't know. And then I watched um I watch Pop the Bloom, Art with Arlette every Wednesday. I watch
Which one?
Sisters, Pop the Bloom with Arlette.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't really watch reality TV like that, so those two shows are closest I'll get. And then I also watch Sisters by Tyler Perry, Sisters,
Okay. Okay.
and that's about it. Um,
Well, that's something. That's something. That's like
I can't give you no more shows, so that's it. I'm working to work on that question. We gotta do another interview about and answer that because I don't got no answer for you.
All right, Krista. Well, thank you so much for sharing your journey and all the amazing work that you're doing. How can our listeners stay connected with you?
Okay, so you have to stay connected to me by the following. Everything is simple. You can find me on all platforms that I am Crystal Jordan on any platform. I make it very simple because I want you guys to be able to Google me. If you need me to advocate for your kids or your family, please email me at crystaljordan@advocate@gmail.com. Also in You Magazine, if you want to be featured, hit me up. I'm looking to collaborate with businesses, nonprofits. anything that is aligning with my brand, I will collab with you. And just again, email me. And then once you email that email I just said, or the one that's gonna be in the description, I would reply back. And I'm very easy to connect with. It's Crystal Jordan, spelled the correct way, Crystal, and it's Jordan, Jordan. And it's put I am Crystal Jordan, and you will be able to find me on all platforms. But please be mindful. Sometimes I may respond. Depending on the day. If I'm busy, I may forget. And then if you see I did not respond, please send me a follow up because I don't like leaving nobody on red. I don't ignore anybody. I'm not better than anybody. We are all equal. So if you, like I said, if you ever get into a part like a prisoner hit me back, please message me back, and I'm going to get to you. So because it's just me. So I may overlook it, and I do that
Right.
sometimes. I just want to be very transparent.
You're human.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'll make sure that I include all your contact information in the show notes for our listeners.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate
Yeah.
it.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us for today's special episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time. The workplace is shifting. Layoffs, return to office mandates, and uncertainty are leaving many professionals questioning their next move. If you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure of how to navigate these changes, coaching can provide the clarity and strategy you need to take your career to the next level. At 2638 Management Group, we specialize in executive coaching and leadership development, helping professionals transition with confidence, position themselves for leadership, and create a career that aligns with their values and goals. The workplace is changing, but your success doesn't have to be uncertain. Let's strategize your next move together. Visit 2638managementgroup.com to schedule a discovery call today and start taking intentional steps towards the next chapter in your career. Thank you for listening to the F.L.O.W podcast. As we wrap up today's episode, always remember your unique path, your voice, and your leadership matter. If you loved what you heard, subscribe now to stay updated on our latest episodes. Take a moment to leave a review and share this episode with someone who can benefit from these conversations. You can stay connected with me on Instagram at the F.L.O.W Podcast with Angela, or visit me on the web at angelavharris.com. Until next time, take care, stay inspired, and keep fearlessly leading in your own way.